John 4 tells the story we commonly refer to as the woman at the well. It's one of the most iconic encounters that Jesus had in the Gospels. But it starts simply. There was Jesus, there was a woman, and there was a well. Let's consider this well for a moment. Scholars believe the well was 135 feet deep, which means every time this woman needed water, she had to pull a heavy bucket up over 13 stories to get a drink. I wonder if as she pulled that bucket up, she thought, this was my husband's job. He was the one who used to provide for me, but not anymore. She was abandoned and had to fend for herself. In fact, she had been abandoned by so many men, she didn't even talk to Jesus when she arrived. But before she can leave, Jesus asked, will you give me a drink? She answers, you are a Jew and I'm a Samaritan. How can you ask me for a drink? The differences may not mean much to us, but imagine if she said, you are a Christian and I'm a Muslim. It was a clear divide to everyone in her day. Everyone except Jesus. He explained, I asked you for a drink, but if you ask me for one, you will never be thirsty again. This is an incredible claim. After all, we know science tells us we cannot live without water. We are designed to drink liquids. It's necessary for our joints, our brain, our hearts, our digestive system. When we drink water, it literally zaps our body with life. If we don't drink it, we start to die. The woman likely did not understand the science behind the drinking water, but she knew what it felt like to be thirsty. She told Jesus, you don't even have a bucket. Where are you going to get this water from? He said, if you drink the water I give you, you will never thirst again, but you will have a wellspring of eternal life. Think of how this must have sounded from her perspective. Jesus is sitting at a well with no bucket and talking to a Samaritan woman about eternal living water. She asked, where can I get this water so I don't have to come to the well anymore? And do you know how Jesus answered? He said, call your husband and come back. She said, I'm not married. And Jesus said, you are right, but you were married 5 times. And the man you have now is not your husband. In this culture, a woman could not divorce her husband. That means she was abandoned 5 times, discarded 5 times. Imagine her eyes filling with tears, her head spinning as she asked Jesus, how did you know that? He goes on to explain that he is the Messiah. She knows it's true. She's not thinking about the water anymore. She is focused on Jesus. It's important to realize the woman in the story looks right past Jesus and focuses on her immediate need. This is something that happens all the time. We are so busy with what we need in the moment that we look past the one who is a never-ending source of life. We are so busy looking for something to eat, we forget the one who makes the plants grow. We are so busy looking for a bit of creative inspiration, we forget the one who created everything. Yes, this woman had a real need, a drink of water, but there was a much deeper need for her withered and thirsty soul. She needed someone to see her. She desperately needed someone to acknowledge her worth. This happens so much in the story of Jesus. We're looking for one thing, but he understands deep down there's something that we need, so much more. She started out looking for water, but what she needed was to be rescued from her circumstances and decisions. She needed the same thing we all need, the wellspring of life that only Jesus can bring.